Hood Rising Kings and Queens, Trap Witch here in Atlanta, Georgia. For those of you who don't know me, my name is the Trap Witch. I am an intercessory. What is that? A bridge. I help people fill in the gap and stand witness to helping them find the power within themselves in order to build the bridges that they need to overcome and cross the obstacles and things that might get in their way or they feel are getting in their way of their journey. But as we know, with obstacle courses in life, the more that we learn to maneuver through them, we pick up our stamina, we pick up our intuition, we build intelligence. So I'm here to help people navigate into building their emotional intelligence and their spiritual stamina to get through this thing we call life. So, for those of you who don't follow me on Instagram, feel free to check me out. My name is TheTrapWitch, The Trap Witch. And if you'd like to book a one-on-one session with me to help you get through your own stuff, if this video resonates with you or any of my other videos resonate with you, feel free to send me a message if you have inquiries about a session, what it pertains to. But all of my healing is a combination of intuitive divination as well as just good old counsel. And everybody needs a friend. Everybody needs somebody who is non-biased. And being that I often don't know the people that come to me personally, sometimes when life gives you another sign that it's time to get your shit together, it's time to get your fucking shit together. So if anything in this video touches you in this heart space, you know, in here, hits you in your root, in your sense of security, if it brings up insecurities, understand that emotions, if you get emotionally triggered by anything that I say, just honor it and process it and ask yourself, why am I feeling this? And understand that's an answer to something that may be a blockage that you need to work through, and I would love to facilitate that with you. So we're going to get into the energy for September 24th, 2018. We are about to have a full moon in Aries. Aries is the baby of the zodiac, and a lot of the things that have been coming up over the summer up until this point is a lot about the insecurities that we have at the root of ourselves, right? And so Aries is bold. Aries is ruled by Mars. It's a planet of action. So I know a lot of Aries people. I know my mother is a fucking Aries, and she's all about that action a lot of times. She can be so forthright and impulsive at times before thinking, but with the Aries energy coming up, it is time to be bold, but it's time to be logical about the bold steps that you take forward and getting over the insecurities and taking a leap of faith, getting over your inhibitions and moving forward. Next week is the harvest season. It is my favorite time of year. And if you've been doing a lot of your work through the retrogrades and the eclipses that we had over the fucking summer, which were hopefully an ending to cycles that we had started last year, wrapping up, then you have an abundance of fruit that you're about to be coming into. And it is great for you to take these now final steps forward to step into that harvest. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be pulling cards from the New Orleans Voodoo Tarot deck. I'm going to pull 5 cards, and I'm going to complement them with 1 card from the Doreen Virtue Goddess Oracle deck. And so what we're going to ask Spirit, we're going to ask the guides what the collective consciousness needs to know, what they need to know about working with this full moon in Aries energy. Full moons are great times to let some shit go, you know. The full moon, for women who don't know, women who cycle with the full moon, that's me, I'm one of those, it's a darker aspect, so you just want to finally let some last things go so you can take these final steps forward boldly, okay? So we're going to get into a good heart space. I want to encourage you to go get a notebook, go get something to write some shit down, because anything that I say, it might come up in the next week with these energies. And if you know what to expect, you can expect to use that energy to the utmost of your advantage in alignment with things that you might have going on in your life or up in your life until this point. Okay? So let's go ahead. Let's take a few deep breaths. Let's take 5. We're going to go in through our nose and blow out through the stomach. Try and get the stomach, you know? Ready? All right. Here we go. Spirit, I call you in on behalf of the collective. I ask for the highest good of all those involved with harm to none. I ask for clarity. I ask for clear perception. I ask Elegua to open the roads to precise messages at this time. For the full moon in Aries, September 24th, 2018, we are wanting to know, what can we do in order to transcend any spiritual, emotional, physical, or mental blockages that might be in the next phase of our journey, to overcome them, to learn to maneuver through them so that we do not get interrupted on our divine mission. We call in the archangels of benevolence, Egun, ancestors, archangels that wish to assist in facilitating a message that can help us at this time. We ask, where can we point our intention and attention to be of maximum execution of our highest potential energy, to be servitude firstly for ourselves and then secondly to others? What is it that we need to know about maximizing the energy for the full moon in Aries, September 24th, 2018? Ache. All right. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco. All right. So, this is the spread. The first card's rattle a place. It shows a man who's at the crossroads. 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. Things seem still spinning out of control. Being that it's reverse, it's time for a point in your life now where maybe things have spun out of control in the past. Maybe because things have spun out of control in the past and you felt not in control, maybe now, even so, you have a fear and a hesitation on how to take steps forward. That's why 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. But what fine details of your past before that now in this present time, you're feeling like you have a gauge on? What are things that you've neglected, right? Because you haven't maybe gone within, that are now coming to the forefront, and you can say, you know what? It's now to take 1 foot forward slowly in front of the other, because I feel like a lot of us have 1 foot forward in the future, one in the past, and we're almost reluctant to take that foot out of the past because we fear what's happened in the past, that we felt out of control. But recently on my trip to Cuba, you know, the Babalao told me, you know, 1 foot in front of the other, step by step. As long as you put your ori, your consciousness, before each footstep, you will be guided slowly but surely in the right direction. So maybe in the past, we did not put our logic before our footsteps, okay? Maybe it's time to go within. Or maybe if you've been within at this time, you've made the sacrifices, okay? Because these are initiates waiting a rebirth and they're on the mat and they've made the sacrifice. The chicken is at the end of the bed. The abo, the sacrifice, the jobs that we've had to conquer have been done. And now we're waiting. We're waiting patiently, okay? So many times we don't understand the importance of being patient with ourselves, and that if we've taken the time to ask ourselves the questions and we're slowly finding the answers, it's okay if the steps are small, because it's more important to develop through the steps we take and the plans that we make more than anything. The third card we have is the Ziatoli card, which is the star card, the destiny card. And the baby's in the egg, the star's in sight. We're waiting. This baby looks pretty fully developed to me. Okay? It looks like it's getting to the point where it's about to come into who it is. It's about to find its place within the galaxies, within finding its place within the universe. But we have to ask ourselves, Elegua, what questions do we finally have for ourselves that have been reoccurring in this time? Is it that simply we're not ready to take the step forward? Because something to me says, it's almost time, and are you ready? Do you actually feel ready? Do you feel ready to take a new path? Do you feel ready to take a new step forward? Because for me, it seems like people are resisting the death and the transformation of the old into the new. Letting go of the fears of the past to step into the future. Like I said, if you've made the sacrifices to come into your blessings, why are we almost resisting the last questions? And I feel like the last questions really are you ready? Are you ready? Because I think a lot of us, the only thing we have to ask right now are we ready to take what is ours to freedom and liberation? Okay, because Les Barons is coming up reverse. It's spirits of the dead. They're on the steps of the courthouse, and they are in celebration. They are in jubilee, and a courthouse is where hopefully we gain freedom, we gain liberation, we gain our justice, we allow things that maybe have been binding us to be lifted up off of us. And the last card, we had a sixth card that fell out, is the Oriati card reversed, the Sword in the Stone. If you've read the story of the Sword in the Stone, it talks about someone, Arthur, who felt inferior, he felt small, but he had to find his logic to overcome that he could be king. And this reading is not as complex as a lot of the readings that I tend to give, but it just seems like if you're ready to be liberated, don't doubt the logic and the freedom that you can take in just making the bold moves to say, you know what? I got this. This reading is just like really. So let's pull a goddess card. Butterfly Maiden, transformation. You are experiencing enormous change right now, which brings great blessings. Okay? It's almost like we're at the point where we are about to explode through the cocoon. And we are resisting. We are resisting flourishing. We are resisting bursting out. It's almost like we're holding ourselves back in this moment of fear. And the quote comes to me that says, sometimes a time comes where remaining in the bud becomes too painful and you just have to blossom and flourish out. There's a roach on the wall. There's the answer, roach. Let's look up roach symbolism, because it's funny, I feel like one of my last readings the roach came up too. Let's look up roach symbolism. The spiritual meaning of the cockroach could indicate that you do in fact want to move forward, but you are worried that your problems will remain, rather than hide away in corners just like the cockroach. A cockroach in biblical terms can be associated with the symbolism of tenacity. Okay? Let's look up what the word tenacity in definition means, okay? Tenacity. Tenacity. The quality or fact of being able to grip something firmly. Look at spirit, and look, This roach, he's just like chilling, resting up there. He hasn't scurried away. That is such a beautiful sign to me because that says we are ready. We're not hiding. We are ready to be seen. We are ready to step out. We are ready to grip whatever the fuck it is that we want by the balls. And it's so funny because Tony Montana's fucking voice just popped in my head. The fucking cockroaches. But in a positive way, funny enough. So, the quality of fact of being able to grip something firmly, to grip. Synonyms: persistence, determination, perseverance, doggedness, strength of purpose, tirelessness, indefatigability, resolution, resoluteness, resolve, firmness, patience, purposefulness, staunchness, steadfastness, staying power, endurance, stamina, stubbornness, intransigence, obstinacity, obduracy. How do you put this in a sentence? She practices her gymnastics routine with the tenacity of a bulldog. You see how that first card ties into the fact that you gotta take that foot out of the past no matter how much has spun out of control. It doesn't matter how fucking much things have spun out in the past. If you've got the tenacity to go forward and the perseverance, and you've been doing the work and you've been developing yourself and you're asking yourself questions, then have the fucking tenacity to believe that you can go from the caterpillar to the fucking butterfly. You can go from being on the ground to soaring up high. Okay? So let's go back to the cockroach because I feel like there's more in there again. Okay? So firstly, if we look at the shape of the cockroach, it is oval. This is quite significant from a spiritual perspective because this indicates rebirth. See how that ties directly into that second card? I will say on the outset, the cockroach represents rebirth, resistance, longevity, and the fact that you will go the extra mile. Aha, look at how that means so much right now because it's important that we be bold and take the step forward, although maybe the foot of the past is pulling us back. I feel to tell you a lot of you are smarter right now. You've made sacrifices to come into your blessings. You've gone through a lot of development. Trust yourself more. Trust your logic. Trust that you won't make the same mistakes again that you've made in the past if you understand your true power. So it says, if you've seen a cockroach cross your path in real life, spiritually, this can indicate that no matter that what you've achieved, you will always do well. So meaning, if you even feel like you've achieved little, know that you can still achieve a lot, no matter what you've achieved. And even if you've achieved a lot, you can achieve a lot more right now. Okay? And so, also it says that they are connected to the numerology number of 4. And in ancient times, it was thought to be very lucky if a cockroach passed you to the left. Aha, and it did pass to the left. Okay? So it's funny because the number 4, right? For me, Aries is the 4th month of the year, right? Because the prime time of Aries is in April. I'm just going to put that out there. So 4. Okay, 4 for me, when I see 4s too, 444, it's the number of stability. Okay, 4 seasons in a year, and guess what? We are about to go into really the last quarter of this year, this harvest season and the winter time. You have to trust that a lot of the things that you've gone through in the first 3 quarters of this year, if you trust yourself, you're going to make some progress forward. If you just trust your logic and your perseverance to be reborn and to take steps forward and not set yourself back. Even right now, if you feel like you are struggling, know that you are slowly succeeding. Know that every chance that you have every chance, even if this is the 4th quarter of the year, to make a bold step forward and not set yourself back in a cycle that you don't want to repeat, okay? And so it says the first thing I'm going to point out is that cockroaches have a huge amount of resilience. Okay? If you could see the cockroach outside, then it indicates that you can overcome anything no matter how hard. Okay? It says the number is a sign of being free-spirited. Okay? Because it says cockroaches in numerology term is connected to the number 3. We are going into the 3rd season of the year, fall. Okay? And look at this. Every year in fall, in a lot of places, the leaves fall off. The leaves fall off the tree. Things have to die for things to be reborn. So this resistance of the death that we have coming, don't resist it, because you will be reborn. You will come into new life. Even in the past, like I said, you might have come into what you feel is like a constant spiral of death, but you weren't dying. You were being reborn every time. Okay? So be free-spirited. Be bold. Be excited. Don't be scared. Be excited about what the possibility is of you taking these steps forward now, okay? And so, according to ancient mythology, a cockroach is connected to fighting wars, being able to control one's feelings, and if seen in the house of or property, the requirement of rebirth. In respect, the cockroach provides us with the free spirit that can give us insight and also the ideas to grow and become a better person. Okay? Let's see if there's anything else. They said cockroaches have survived over 300 million years. Okay? From a spiritual perspective, the fact that the cockroach can live through even a nuclear war indicates that you are a true fighter, ready to face your battles and challenges. Ache. So you know what? I don't feel to say much more. A lot of us are going through transformation, and you have to trust the person that you're coming into. You have to trust that you have the logic, you have the perseverance, you have the resilience to ask yourself the questions to come into your higher consciousness at every point. That if you make the sacrifices that you go within, you will come into your blessings. No matter what you have endured in your past, don't get stuck in it. Take your foot in front of the other, one by one. We make mistakes, but we have to be resilient and understand your mistakes. Your mistakes can lead to bigger manifestation if you learn to ask yourself the appropriate questions of the mistakes of the past. A lot of times spirit comes to test us and say, okay, I'm presenting you with something right now. It might look a lot like something that happened in your past, and you are fearful, you are terrified right now. But how bold will you be to have another outcome? And even if the outcome isn't what you expected, how are you going to deal with it? And how are you going to become more resilient going forward from it even more so? Boldness. Mars. Aries ruled by Mars. Action. Being all about that action. Your plan of attack. You can always go back to the drawing board, no matter what. As long as you have another day, you have another moment, you have another second, you have another week, another month, another chance, you always have a new plan of attack. You just have to have the desire and the resilience to want to do better. Be better. Not be bitter. Not be feeling sorry for yourself. Roach is going back that way to the left. Don't go back. Don't go back and hide in a corner right now. Come out. Be in the light. Don't be afraid. Fear is not an option right now. The only thing that's standing in between you and what you want is you. You can have anything that you want as long as you believe that you're deserving of it and you're bold enough to go after it. And even if something you go after, you realize it's not manifesting the way you want it, maybe it wasn't supposed to, but you still go after a bigger plan of action of what you still want. Nothing that's for you will ever miss you, but you'll miss it if you're not bold enough to go after it, so you don't know. All right? I hope that sits with you well. I was a little worried at first. I was a little blocked. I couldn't really vibe it, but ache. Thanks, Mr. Roach. Fucking cockroaches. They're a blessing. either way, because they helped with that message extremely. So I hope this helps you. We're gonna keep it short and sweet today. Um, if you want to book a session with me, you want to see what I'm about, check out me on Instagram. Check me out on Instagram, whatever. The Trap Witch. And if you want to book a session, www.thetrapwitch.com. I hope this sits well with you, and I hope you're bold enough to take one foot in front of the other going forward this next weekend and into next week, and using this energy to come into the harvest that you want this fall and winter. Okay? Ache, love and light. Peace, y'all.